Nah.
This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to welcome Kathryn Davis with us. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you for having me, ladies, today. Very excited to be here.
We're so happy to have you.
This is fun. We're excited. You have a new movie coming out.
Ooh, yes.
So you have a Valentine's Day movie.
Yeah, this one's a first for me. First Valentine's. Lots of Christmas films, but this is my first Valentine's Day one. So yeah, very excited. Welcome to Valentine, and it's going to be on the Hallmark Channel on February 18th.
That's fun.
Right. It's very exciting, like nerve-wracking too, because Hallmark is literally the echelon in terms of literally like the genre of Hallmark movies. It's Hallmark, so it was it felt like a huge honor to be part of like amazing crew and casts, everything. Just filmed it in December recently in Oslo. Had a wonderful time. Very cold, but had a wonderful time filming it. And I got to reunite with a couple of actors I've worked with before as well. So I'm excited to see how it ended up looking and all together, because I haven't seen much in terms of post-production edit.
There's not much out there yet. But so this is your first Hallmark film?
It's my second Hallmark, my first lead.
Okay.
So I did do, in 2020, I filmed A Christmas Carousel.
Yep.
With Neil Bledsoe and Rachel Boston. So
I love them both.
Yes. Oh, they're wonderful. And I would absolutely love to work with Neil Bledsoe again. I had so much fun with him.
We have had him on a couple of times, and we met him, spent the weekend at Rama Drama with him. So he's
wonderful,
amazing. He's hilarious.
He's a beautiful soul.
He is a beautiful soul,
and just generous with his time and everything. He was wonderful to watch and just see that. Because I was still sort of new when you're a younger actor and like you don't have as much time and experience on set. So the only time you have to learn sometimes is on a working set. And so like I'll take my time to kind of stand on the side and watch how the pros do it and kind of pick up like ideas and I guess tricks and so forth over time. And so he was really, really interesting to watch work. Oh my gosh, I already see a note from Angie. Is it Lyman?
Yeah. Yep.
So much for watching.
Oh, yes. With Steve Lund. Yes.
Yeah.
6 Degrees of Santa. That was a lot of fun. I filmed that last April. So thank you very much for watching it. I really appreciate that.
Love that. Super fun. So you said you worked with some people you've worked with before on this movie. Who else have you worked with?
Yes. So the actress that plays my sister is Cara Duncan. So I've done 2 movies with her before. One, I never actually met her on set, but we were both in the same film. That one was called Cooking Up Love. That came out, I want to say, January 2021. And then we also were in Christmas on Fifth Avenue together. She played my best friend. So we had screen time on that, and she was wonderful. We both went to the same performing arts program as well. We were just a couple years apart. So I never met her then, but we've been reunited a couple times. So I was absolutely thrilled when I knew she was cast on this. And then Bayan Hoffman as well. I worked with him. He was in 6 Degrees of Santa. I had a little part where it's just this adorable little, like, you want to squeeze him. This gorgeous little boy. And so I got to work with him again. And this time he's my nephew. So that was fun.
It's like a family affair.
It is really lovely when you do get to see the same faces, and then also the industry is so small too.
Right. Yeah.
You'll work with one person, and my brother's an actor as well, and he's in the theater world, and so I'll sometimes cross paths with actors that he knows from the theater and scene, and then I'm meeting them on sets, or they know each other. Like it's small enough industry in that you get the opportunity to work with the same actors, and that's always wonderful.
Is he in the Toronto theater scene?
He was in Niagara on the Lake. He's in Montreal right now. He's sort of moving towards the director's side of things. He's
Mhm.
written an opera that comes out. It's going to premiere at the Canadian Opera Company in May 2024.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he's literally just written an opera about a Afro-Canadian opera singer called Portia White.
Yep.
And so they're going to be premiering that, and he's hopefully going to take that on to, I think the plan is to take it on to Ottawa to have a little thing in Nova Scotia where she was from.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sort of in the works for that.
That's super fun. I see in the comments, Sheila's over here got Santa's Got Style with Franco
Lopresti.
Yes, I did work with Franco. He's a beautiful soul, and that was such a fun production. The company itself, Brain Power, they really kind of gave me my first opportunities, and I built up from small roles with them. I think that was my 5th project working with them, and started with like 3 lines on Christmas with a Prince. I was playing a mean princess, and then I had like a recurring role, and then they built me up to my first lead, which was Christmas on 5th with them. So I'm always eternally grateful to them. They've been so wonderful and generous to me over the last few years. And Franco.
Right? It's Franco, right?
Just like delightful.
Wait, Sheila's asking Niagara on the Lake?
Yes. Yeah, my brother was at the Shaw Festival, exactly. And his partner is the director at the Shaw Festival as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's a huge theater festival over there.
Yes, the between that and Stratford, it's like the 2 largest repertory theatre companies. It's what all the young theatre students are like, I'm going to go to Stratford. I'm going to go to Shaw Festival. And then my brother went almost straight out of school, and he's stayed more in the theatre and creative side of things as well. Yep. And he's done done his own short films. He's done a full-length documentary as well, and he's like a Renaissance man, I always call him. He's my headshots, and he does my Instagram because
he does your Instagram. Yes,
he does do your. It's beautiful,
which is a beautiful feed.
Yeah, that's all my brother. That's all Howie Davis. So HAUI for Howie. So that's all him.
So are you saying your family is quite creative? I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah, like my parents, we've always, growing up, we always had access to, my parents would take us to see pantomimes. We would go see musicals. We would go see theater, ballet. I'm from, in case some people can't tell, I'm from the southwest of England originally. So a city called Bath in Somerset. Yeah. So we grew up there, and sometimes that was like the launching pad. They had a local sort of semi-professional theatre group there, and they would sometimes launch a show there, which they would then take on to the West End, which is London's Broadway equivalent. And so we always had access, and then our birthdays all line up in the winter. My brother's December, I'm January, my sister's Feb. And so we would go see like a pantomime or something over our birthday kind of holiday season. So we always had a lot of exposure to the arts in that way. So my mom always loved ballet. My dad always loved musicals and so forth. So we had that. My dad's was a contractor for a long time, engineer contractor. My mom was a pharmacy tech. So
you had a pharmacy tech
there. But aside from that, but my grandma, like, she used to love dancing. So we would always spend time with her, and we would be dancing, and spend our childhood I have an older sister as well. We'd spend our childhood kind of like reenacting movies or like Mary Poppins and so forth. We'd be like caught singing it out in the street and stuff. So strange.
I can picture it now, that engineering pharmacy household with creative kids. So,
sound a little familiar, Julie.
Sounds so familiar, I can't even tell you.
Oh, is it really? Is that
literally my household?
No way. Okay.
So
yeah. There's artistry to carpentry for sure.
Yeah. We have a lot of music at this household too. We're big music.
Yes.
Musicals.
My dad loves music.
Yeah.
Loves music for sure. So
no, I love that. There's but math and science and music, they go together.
Yes.
They do. Super fun. So you're moving. Welcome to Valentine. Your character is Olivia. What can you tell us about her?
So Olivia is a little bit down on her luck.
What?
Has been threes. So her career is not really getting off the ground. She sort of aspires to be an artist, following the steps of her mom, who was her idol, her artistic kind of influence for years. And she leaves Valentine, Nebraska to go to New York and try and make it on big professional art scene. But things aren't working out so well. She's sort of lost her inspiration. She's sort of beaten down, literally, by the weather, by the people, by the circumstance, everything. And then, it all kind of amounts with uninspired, manages to lose her job, and then her best friend, who is an actor in the movie, lands a role in Chicago. So she ends up leaving New York to go to Chicago. So I promptly end up losing my apartment as well. I have nowhere to live, nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So the decision is to go home and help my sister, who is organizing the big annual Valentine's Day parade. And it's her first year, like her inaugural, I guess, parade altogether. And so I end up teaming up with George, played by Mark Ian. And we kind of road trip a little bit and then get to Valentine, where his reliable car is no longer in a reliable state, and he gets stuck there as well.
No, he gets stuck. And wait, is Valentine a big city or a tiny little city?
Teeny weeny.
Yeah.
It's actually their place.
Small town. We've moved to the small town. We moved from the big city to the small town.
Absolutely. Returning to the roots and everything.
And there's a festival, so we're right on on target.
and the car broke down, so everyone's stuck there together.
You got it.
And it can't get fixed until all the things happen.
Yeah.
Until the kiss.
Right before thrown in between as well. But so Olivia's a little bit down on her luck, and so kind of goes back home to try and find inspiration to kind of reset herself, to find her roots, and it unfolds from there.
So do we get like is most of the movie a road trip? Is it like a road trip movie, or do we get to Valentine fairly quickly?
Fairly quickly. I feel in the probably like how it ended up working out, based on script wise, I want to say by page sort of 18, 19, I think we're landing in Valentine.
Okay.
So that translates to maybe 25 minutes, I would say.
Okay.
So we start off in kind of New York. The whole disaster follows with Olivia, and then little road trip part, Chicago, a little bit more road trip, Valentine, and then the rest is all set in Valentine.
I love a good road trip though, because you get sit and talks in a different version, right? And so
yes, exactly.
I think about like When Harry Met Sally has the road trip, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We have like a fun scene outside of a gas station, which we filmed like it was pretty late at night. I'm sure, I can't even remember now, but it was very, very cold. And I remember we were sort of doing coverage, and it was sort of over the shoulder for me and onto Marquine, and there's just this road behind, and this big semi truck pulls up, and I remember everyone being like really cold and kind of thing, and I saw the semi truck and I was like, hey, like they're like, he's not gonna do it, and then
he is.
I was like, yeah. That's how I like to stay chipper and everything on sets. We might be cold, but we have like so much fun doing them.
Right.
And that one, I was like, you can't use that take. Sorry about that. But it was good fun.
But we had fun, and we broke it up. Because you were in Ottawa, is that what you said?
This film?
Yeah.
The setting's Nebraska.
Right, but you were filming in.
Oh no, Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa.
OTTAWA.
So you were cold. Yeah.
Very cold.
Cold. It was December. Yeah.
And Ottawa tends to be much, much colder than Toronto.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit further north, but it's not as cold as Montreal, because that's further up the St. Lawrence River and everything. So that they were seeing like minus 30 or 40, I think, recently. So not as cold as that, but still pretty chilly.
That was us here last week.
I'm over it.
Fahrenheit to centigrade, we were like minus 34, 35 centigrade.
Holy.
That was last week. Today we were toasty warm.
So it's warm here too, actually. Okay, so do you have a favorite scene in the movie?
Oh, I think I always generally have a favorite scene when I read a script. One that I really, really look forward to doing itself. I think the finished product. just overall, I loved working with Stefan Brogren, the director. He actually directed me on my first ever TV show. So I was like 3 lines playing a diner waitress, and I met him in my fittings. So I saw him on the cast and I was like, oh my gosh, I've worked with him before. That's amazing. Yeah. And it felt like it was full circle almost, that he was my very first director on a TV show, and then he was directing me my first lead with Hallmark and everything like that. So that was very poetic in that way. Aside from the slight blooper that I mentioned about like nearly squishing his dog.
It was his dog. You'll have to tell that story now that we're live.
Yes, otherwise it's very cryptic and no one's going to actually understand it. So we were filming the sort of the scene where Olivia gets home back to Valentine, Nebraska, and she kind of comes in the house and she's like, yes, I'm going to see my sister, I'm going to see my nephew. And I kind of walk in and I'm like, hi, hello. And there's a little dog, a little chihuahua that's featured in the movie. It actually belongs to the director, Stefan Brogren. His name is Shorty. And the chihuahua was so sweet. It doesn't have any teeth. So her tongue flops out the side just incidentally, and it's just adorable. So we were going to decide that the dog was going to be the first one to greet me, come down the staircase, clear, and then my nephew's supposed to come down, who's played by Ian. So we do the first take. Shorty clears the scene. It's a wide shot. And then Bay and my nephew's supposed to come down the stairs. We're supposed to embrace, like be kind of crazy family love and fall on the floor, kind of cuddling. My sister runs in next and we're all cuddling. And Marquin's just supposed to stand there being like, what is this? And the very first take, like Bain and I are doing the big hug and we go to fall to the ground. And suddenly there was sort of the surge of sound all of a sudden and then dead silent. And I mentioned sets are quiet. Whenever you're working, of course, the mics are so sensitive, they pick up everything. So etiquette is always quiet on set. But this was dead silence.
Yeah.
Right? To the point that I thought, oh, okay, sorry, first take, I must have missed my mark. Oh, great. Sorry, got to do another take, guys, kind of thing. Thinking that I just fouled it up and finished. They're like, and cut kind of thing. And everyone sort of has this high energy up in their chest. They're all kind of like, and I was like, well, I'm sorry, did I miss my mark? And turns out during the take, Shorty had come back in behind me as I was going to the ground. And from what they could see on the camera, it looked like I squished the dog. But the dog was fine. The dog was fine. I had no clue what happened. The director showed me it afterwards, but everyone, they just yelped and then it was dead. They didn't even care if I was on my mark.
No, it was the dog.
It was all about Shorty.
And meanwhile, Bayan and I have no clue of what's going on. We're just like, I'm sorry, should we do another take? I'll try and further over.
Did I mess up that bad?
No, not there.
Poor Shorty. But he made it out because he's fast.
Yes. So she's featured in a few scenes, that one. So that would be one of my favorite scenes. I also had a really sweet scene with Bay as well, when I'm supposed to be getting ready to go out and he doesn't want to brush his teeth. And it was filmed very, very last part of the day. Been a huge day already. So I think we're pulling into 15 hours at that point. And I just feel that Bay and I have this little, I don't know, this sweet connection that we have. And so we had this very, very sweet scene in the bathroom when he kind of asked me to, stay, and I'm like, I'm working on it kind of thing. And then he goes off to bed. So I was like, oh.
Cute though.
So, yeah, those were some of my favorites, but every single scene, every day, it's just memories. You come across so many wonderful people that come from so many different avenues in life, and the crew are exceptional. One department. I have worked with them before a few years ago on a horror movie, and I had a lovely experience, and this was fabulous. It's like going home, literally. Everyone is so supportive. Every department's got your back, and you're just coming together, and we're making, I always say, making movie magic at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's about love and rainbows.
Yeah, right. And I'm just going to say, I love how these same groups of people and actors make horror movies and
I know. Why no? Well, I have a theme for a while that I also have worked with Ubisoft for a number of years, doing motion capture for video games and voiceover. So they were my very, very first professional union project. Was doing a video game that became Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Right.
years later. So that I kind of go back with work for them about 9 years. But I kept being kind of cast in some of their worlds as either old ladies. So I was like, you're trying to sell me here, or prostitutes.
Right, because video games, because literally, that's,
I know. I was like, at the end of the day, motion capture, they can make my arms 20 feet long.
right,
They can change my gender, my height, my
right,
everything. It's just the physical body that's moving.
right.
But there were a few times where I was like, someone want to tell me something? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all are seeing when I'm coming in here. Because you're wearing Velcro suits. Like, there's nothing attractive about what you're wearing at all, with bubble balls all over you. And then I kept either guessing in the movie world, I kept getting either married or killed.
No in between.
I'm either dying,
you're either dead, or you're walking down the aisle.
yeah, and the deaths are usually something to do with my head. So I had the TV show Taken. I had a shard of glass that was supposed to go through my neck, and the carotid artery is supposed to be that's gruesome. Sorry. And then another one is that that horror movie, I was supposed to die by falling off a ladder and landing on a table and a scalpel and that kind of thing. And then the other one was Jupiter's Legacy. Was my whole head was on
Decapitated, little decapitation.
I
know this is something we didn't know when we started into, and we are now well versed in how these two worlds actually intermingle a lot, and it just kind of it's one of my favorite things that I've learned along the way.
Yes,
they do, because even when you're working, Stefan said to me, he's like, I feel that have you ever played a villain? He's like, I feel you would be a good villain. I was like, oh. Tell me more. No more.
Would be villain would be fun, actually.
Yeah. So it is, and one department out of Ottawa as well. They do thrillers, they do horrors, they do the romance world as well. So wide range of projects.
Yeah.
They usually have 3 or 4 projects filming at any one time.
Right. They're masters at getting these 3-week movies shot, so they can.
Out the door.
Amazing teams. They're literally families, and they use the same. There's a lot of trust and everything between the crew and everything. So it's always lovely to cross paths with people again.
Yeah, I can see how you need the same people. You just really the script and what you're doing is what changes. Right.
Pretty much. Circumstance, names change.
The names change, maybe the town.
It's not Valentine and it's not Olivia.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or unless it's Bloody Valentine.
We had a running joke on set that there was going to be a thriller murder version of our movie.
Oh, yeah.
We kept saying, and I don't know if Stefan will be watching this, but we kept being under the bus kind of thing, because it was a silly joke that started day one. We don't really even understand the origin of it now, but it just kept going, and we were called Steph, I remember on one of the days he was he just goes for the last take, and he goes, just do something, do whatever you want kind of thing. We already have what we think we want, but just whatever you like. And I remember it's a scene with myself and Sophie, and we're supposed to be boys kind of thing. We run to a curtain, we're working an event, it'll make sense when the movie comes out, and she said her line, and I was like, under the bus kind of thing. And the whole crew were laughing.
Right.
You just roll with it, you just roll with it kind of thing. So
now I'm going to be picturing that.
Right, under the bus. We'll treat it. Are you on Twitter?
Myself?
Yeah.
No, I don't really actually understand Twitter.
Me neither.
I do sometimes if there's a story, I love Huffington, HuffPost things.
Yeah.
So I'll look at things and be what if kind of thing, silly humor,
right.
Geico adverts. I love Geico adverts because I just think they're ridiculous. There's
they're the best.
The Wright brothers, and I'm just it's too silly but so good kind of thing. So sometimes I'll just go on there, but I don't really understand it, and I find it a little bit overwhelming because people aren't don't really hold back on what they're thinking because
no, they don't. They need to bust out an edit button for their mind and use a little filtering before they.
Yeah, I remember when Christmas Carousel came out, and it wasn't in Canada the same day, so I was kind of like watching, and I remember that I was trending a little bit, either that people were like, Margaret, isn't that the name of the character? Like, people were mistaking me for Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh,
right. It's a switch out, and her character's name was Margaret as well. I was like, no, thank you, but no, I'm a different person. And then they kept saying, like, I remember seeing things being like, oh, why does it always like a certain theme song? I think it was like the Wicked Witch, like the theme that coming into their head whenever I walked in a room. I was like, acting, guys.
Wow.
Intentionally breaking them up. It's a misunderstanding. I did like kind of had a couple. I was not trending by any stretch, but I was seeing like, Margaret and Christmas Carousel and why does this girl always come in at the wrong time? I'm like, sorry, it's scripted as such.
No, right, the Twitter, it's because we will live tweet movies, so we're always looking. Well, I was looking if you're going to be out there, so that's why we're like, if you're gonna live tweet
it, I'm usually, I don't get a screener version until after it's aired, so usually I'm watching it live with you. So you'll probably see me sitting on the couch, and my parents will be sitting watching, and I'm like, oh. And the commercial break will come, and I'm like, okay, it's not too bad so far. I'm still like, I can't quite abandon, the edit of myself all the time. Like, I'm always like, oh, I should have done that, or no. It's always a learning curve for me.
Okay, I was gonna ask you if you like. Oh, there's some actors that won't watch at all, and there's some that want to watch to see how it turned out and like learn from what they did, and
I was a little bit reluctant up until 2020 to watch myself on camera, because sometimes you have a different perception of what your voice sounds like, even though I studied theater and so forth. Like, I was a little hesitant at first, and I remember when my episode of The Wedding Planners was airing, and it was middle of lockdown. I was with my parents, kind of thing, and it came on, and I knew it was my scene. And it started with a pan on flowers down. And I ran out of the room. I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And I was watching halfway out and only able to see a portion of the screen. I was like, okay, it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. And so after that, I've had a little bit more faith in the work. I do see for myself, like, it's always a chance to learn. I saw myself in the early days, because the only chance you ever get to work as an actor is when you're on a set. I did see that I knew sometimes instinctively I wanted to make a choice, but I was a little bit too nervous too. And so it was sort of like semi-choice, and it read well. And I was like, oh, I should have just done a bit more. Like, I should have just, so sometimes it's about allowing myself to give a little bit more, to do more than I think. Like, go with your instinct, go with your gut, which is theater teachers would be like, yes, Kat. Go for your gut. What I hone our skills for years in school is to act instinctually. And then, of course, first thing the actor does is, oh, that might be too big. Oh, I don't know if I should do that. I don't want to take away attention and stuff like that. So constantly learning.
Right. A lot of them say they don't ever watch, and I always think I'm always in a situation where we stop, evaluate, and redirect. And so I'm just like, but how do you stop, evaluate, and redirect if you don't?
Yes. I do watch the things, even like 6 Degrees of Time. I do not read reviews. That's one thing I don't do, is because
those are personal opinions, and sometimes those personal opinions need to be avoided.
Yes. I don't know. Sometimes like there's a lot of love for my male co-stars, but not so much for me.
Well, probably a bunch of women writing them.
And then there's lovely ones as well. Like, people, I so appreciate people watching and supporting me over the years, everything. But there's one thing I don't do, because you can be told 1,000 things of the positive and then one negative thing, and I'm like, and I did read one review for 6 Degrees of Santa, I remember, and I was sort of like about it after, and it was to do with the speed of how I spoke. And I understood their criticism, when I did see it back, I was like, I can afford to slow down, but just how I interpreted that particular character is that she's on the ball. She's sort of 2 steps ahead of Lund's character. And so that was portrayed, and it was a very wordy script. So I was portraying it as such. So I understood then. I was like, give yourself permission to slow down and to, adjust where you think you need to. Because instinctually, you know what you should do. So it's just giving myself that permission to.
Right.
And sometimes I've worked with a lovely co-star, Olivier Renaud. I've done 2 movies with him, and he really encouraged me to kind of find my voice as well. He would say, he's like, if you want to do another take, you can request another take. And I would start to then ask the directors, like, are you happy? Like, I feel that I could change something up, or I was thinking this. And they know what they want, the directors. So they know what they're like, we're going to cut that to that kind of thing. So it's sometimes just touching base. So I feel more that I approach the work as among peers, that I'm working with people that have, same resumes, experience as me now. And we're just talking as professionionals do.
Right.
So more of a collaborative experience when
you're
filming.
Yeah, it's very cohesive altogether, just like a team effort.
Really. I love that.
Instead of feeling intimidated and feeling that I can't step out of place, because of course there's etiquette, but there's also you don't want to step on toes, and it can feel like you're doing that on the first few sets that you work on. So it's just giving yourself the permission, having a little bit of courage, but also learning and approaching the work as a professional. I hope I do. Others would be like, you're right.
I'm sure that's not true.
I'm the class clown. I'm literally the one that stands on the side getting a semi-truck driver and being like, blow the horn, blow it, kind of thing at 1 o'clock in the morning.
But I think when it's
levity,
right, when everyone is comfortable in the setting, and you're getting better work out of everyone too, right?
Yeah, I think so. And they say that the tone of the movie is set by the leads, and I like everyone to feel comfortable. So I learn everyone's names. Yes. I introduce myself to actors. I have pride in the work that I've done, and I have worked for a long time to get where I am, but my parents always kept me very grounded and very humble, I hope. And so even a new person working on the set, like I worked with a wonderful actress on this. We have a very fun scene together, which leads to my firing. The character, Georgia, and together we were just chatting, and she was a little bit nervous and was asking me like questions, and I'm always happy to answer them, because I'm curious when I'm working on sets to see how things work, what roles people play, because I do want to produce and stuff eventually as well. And so I was kind of like answering questions for her and kind of encouraging her to have a voice to speak up and so forth. So I hope to just inspire other actors to be kind moving forward, and to, we do such vulnerable work, and there's times we work, there's times we don't. And so I would just rather be one of those actors that's, people like, respect, enjoy working with, have fun with, but we get the job done.
I love that. Love that. Super, super fun. Hey, is there anything in this movie that's like a hidden Easter egg or something we should look for?
Besides Shorty running.
Shorty.
The dog would definitely be like a little sprinkling on top of this. There's a very fun vehicle, which they didn't have on the poster, which I was kind of surprised about, but maybe it was a Ford Mercury Cougar, 1972 Cougar.
Oh, okay.
Really?
It was like a car, like a boat, what I would call, sorry, Sandra, who owns it, a bit of a bone rattler. Like when you're in it, you're like, suspension's gone. But I drove, they hired this vehicle in, and it belongs to a lady named Sandra, and her son was on set. His name was Matt, and they were on set with us. And I remember we were doing this one shot where it's supposed to show the car arrive. And of course, it says stick shift. So Marquis can't drive that. So they have Matt do it with me. And I'm sitting in the front seat, and he was like reversing it up this main street and oswald kind of thing. And then we would pull forward. And I was like, oh, this car is sexy, man. Like, I was like, no wonder men love cars. I was like, yeah, it had power and everything to it. So that would be like a little hidden gem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's Emmanuel. I love that. Like, love that. Right.
And then another gems. I think you're just gonna fall in love with the people.
Okay.
Of Valentine, especially. Such a lovely crew of gorgeous actors, like Andrea Davis, who plays sort of a surrogate mum to me. She's just stunning. She's a gorgeous woman. And of course, Cara Duncan, and lovely actor that I worked with as well. His name's Percy, and he plays Ron. And so we're supposed to be childhood friends as well. Okay. So you'll just see that we had so much fun together, and I think it will really show through the camera as well, that we just had lots and lots of fun moments together.
Yeah, it'll be very believable that you were best friends growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. And that's like, yeah, one of the things I like to lead forward with on sets as well is like Cara Duncan and I, when we first met on Christmas on 5th, we were like besties within minutes. And it emulates through the screen because there's a trust. And we do have a really, I think we'll end up looking really beautiful scene where, I think Steph was slightly concerned because I am a little bit of a clown. I'm like on set. Fun. And we had this kind of he saw the scene as being quite intense, and it's sort of like a breakdown of the two sisters talking. And I remember working with Cara, and we just the trust and like the love for each other is right there, and I think it's going to end up being a very powerful scene, because it we already had that foundation is there, so you just kind of build on it from there. So I think Steph was like, this is serious, right? So I was like, don't worry, I'll pull it together.
I love that though. Dara in the chat is saying that Christmas on Fifth Avenue is one of her favorite movies. So.
Oh, thank you so much for watching it. It was my first lead role, so that always holds a very special place in my heart.
I love that.
There. So, and there's Brain Power, and the same company that did Santa's Got Style and All Aboard for Love that's coming out soon. So, yeah.
That's the Ish Morris one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The lovely Ish Morris.
Yeah.
So, he's nice.
Yeah.
Nice Ish.
We like Ish. Ish was, I'm trying to think what we've seen him in.
Well, he was in Feeling Butterflies.
He was in that, and then he was in another one. Then he was in another one after. He's been in everything. He's true.
Like in all the movies. Yeah.
He's busy. I was just chatting to him a few days ago, and he is in Ottawa. I think he might be wrapped now, but he sent me, because I was in Florida, he sent me like a video of him on a night shoot, and it was pouring snow, and it's like another actor, and I was just like, sorry, I'm standing on a beach right now.
I'm in Florida.
The ocean
beach.
So like, there's pros and cons. I'm bronzing myself, but you're working, so
right. There's
he's a busy bee, and he again, like, he's encouraged me as well to kind of have faith in terms of not the process in terms of filming by that stretch, but have the faith in the process of life.
Yeah.
That he kept saying to me, he's like, don't worry, like, you're not going to have like the second job, that actors usually have to have. He's like, don't worry, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going, kind of thing. So he's like a cheerleader for every so often my deflated ego.
I have to say though,
so sweet.
So many of the actors still have second jobs, even when we look at that incredibly successful, right? Like, yeah, Andrew Walker, who's one of the icons of Hallmark, right? No, they literally have a massive side job, right?
Right.
Yeah,
making juice and selling juice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, like, the work when it comes, it's like it's a blessing, but it's always a little bit of the unknown. So for me, I'm like, I don't know if it's my Capricorn spirit. I like stability, so I do have a secondary job that I do go to in between projects and stuff. So it's nice little support there. But of course, acting is what I want to do full time. And I was very, very fortunate last year to have worked on 6 projects. So I'm hoping like new year, new opportunity, I hope. So
great. No,
I'm sure.
And I'm sure you will, because we've seen great work in the past. It's going to just continue. I mean, you can just see it happening, right?
Thank you. That really means a lot.
So you majored in theater.
Mm-hmm.
So did you do a lot of theater before moving into film, or did you go right into film world?
Pretty much transitioned straight into TV film. Well, actually, I did video games first, so motion capture. Okay. So I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Performance Acting from Toronto Metropolitan. Okay. I have an honors degree from it.
I was just going to say, for those of you that don't know, this is a very prestigious university, a very prestigious program. It's hard to get into.
It is. And I actually got into the program with my brother. Okay. So my brother and I both, first-time siblings, have gone up through the program, same class, everything. We both graduated, and then he went off to the Shore Festival, and then I ended up, dropping into TV film, pretty much when you're first leaving school, based on the union work and everything up in Canada, you can do non-union theater and film, but once you start that leg of unionizing with ACTRA, it becomes a little bit more tricky because they have what's called reciprocal agreements between so the business of show business.
Yeah.
Sort of.
No, right. So,
I did unionize fairly quickly out of theatre school and everything, so then I wasn't able to do theatre as much. But I have auditioned for Stratford and Shore Festival intermittently. Words over the last few years, but I started to feel that I'd love to go back to theater at some point, and I did tell my agent that, but I feel that TV film is my calling right now. And that's where my interest is, and motion capture on video games it's the closest thing to theater. It's a hybrid because you're working in studios surrounded by infrared cameras with suits with bubbles and everything on them. And so it's the closest thing to what a proscenium stage is, where you're imagining the settings around you. So on the imagination side of things, it's the closest thing to theater. It's slightly elevated performance, not so theatrical, but still more elevated, because in the work you have to be able to, a lot of the work that I do, which is a gameplay mode, is that you have to be able to be specific enough to know what archetype you're playing, but generic enough because they will repeat you multiple times in a world, in the game world. That's when I play old ladies on video games.
Love that.
I have to somehow physically show that I'm an older person so that they don't think I'm the archetype of, say, a homeless person or, vagrant, something like that. At the same time, it has to be generic enough so I can't have a very specific limp, because otherwise every character, when they replicate me, will have the same limp.
Right.
It's interesting work in terms of that, and whole vocabulary, whole education that comes with it too. So I still work with them. I was working with them last year as well on another game. So I've done 5 games with them altogether.
Wow. So games have you done?
I have done Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate Jack the Ripper, which was another game on that. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Watch Dogs Legion 2, and then Watch Dogs Legion 3. I'm sorry, it was the third one, and then one that's in works right now.
So people who are in video gaming will totally know what this is. These are massive, this is a huge industry that is massive.
Set days, my goodness, huge money sets.
Huge, massive amount of money. And Assassin's Creed is one of the iconic titles within that world. I like him. That's crazy fun that you are in that. And I'd love to game
with the kids.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm a video gamer, so
I was a PCer for a long time. I had a Sega back in the day. My Game Boy Color. Little.
Yes.
But
we still have them here.
When it comes to games, my brother and I used to play.
We had the first Game Boy.
Yeah.
My brother had one, and gosh, it must be. It would well be over 23 years old now. I'm aging myself, but we used to play on that, and then we had Harry Potter PC games.
Yeah, those were so good though.
They were so much fun.
Good.
When I would do the movement, and my brother would cast the spells. Yes. I don't know how one person does it. I really don't know.
Right, because so my kids used to do that too. Also, my daughter had a Barbie game where it was Barbie gymnastics, and it took 2 of them to make the tumbling.
I don't know how one person would do it. I really don't understand it. And there were a couple times my brother and I would get caught out with certain creatures. It was the second one, like Chamber of Secrets. Totally off topic here. But,
I'm like, I totally know what you're talking about.
Try and talk. Yeah.
This part with like a spider, and it would sort of like go. You would see it. The frame would kind of see it, and then it would zoom in.
Yes.
And my brother and I weren't expecting it, and we both like screamed, fell off our chairs, and ran out of the room. Like, I don't know, like what we thought it was gonna do, but yeah. That and there were imps. They used to have imps that would throw candy and it would like blow up.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that part of the game as well. That's old. That's like Chamber of Secrets when that came out. So and two.
In the video gaming world, those Assassin's Creeds are just here. We got the NES over here. Angie, original NES is my favorite. Nintendo Entertainment System.
Like the first Nintendo, I had that. I was good at Super Nintendo.
Yeah, so the Super Nintendo,
and then I aged out. Yeah,
the Super Nintendo is still downstairs. The best thing if you're a gamer and you raise children, then the game is yours. And so then when your kid gets old enough to have friends over and they're in kindergarten, then they have to come and ask me if they can play my video games.
Okay, it's a good way to establish like rules and everything.
That's my pro parenting tip for video games from a video gaming.
Perfect.
You should put out a book, Julie.
Parents are gonna just sort of do anything, but if they know it's mums, they're like.
They have to ask. Then they'd have to ask, and then I would give them permission for a certain amount of time. That was before there was any like screen time recommendations or anything. And I would be like, "You may play it until this time, and then we will put it away."
Then no more. Done.
right. Yeah. SNES Super Mario World. They would have to stop when they got to this one section and come get me because I was like the only one who could get.
What you doing?
Because remember, it would never like save your progress. You had to go through like 10 worlds before you get the next progress saved.
Oh wow! No, I didn't really play those ones.
No. See, like Assassin's Creed, it's so much better. You can just be like save, and then there you are. You're saved.
I haven't played any of the games that.
Haven't you?
No, I don't have like a PlayStation.
So have you never seen yourself and what you've done?
I have seen like a couple clips. With the gameplay, I won't ever really know who I am because they're taking my physical body and stuff.
Right.
My brother did play Assassin's Creed Syndicate when it came out because I played a gangster in one of the parts. It's like a London gangster called Bloody Nora. And my brother played it and my character dies. I'm telling you, always the theme of dying in things. He dies, and so he killed my character. He's like, I killed my sister. Like, what?
I love that.
Light out of that. Like, thanks, Howard. Like, great.
But that's a fun like other thing to be doing with your acting though. Like,
yes,
that's a super fun. So you have to wear the suit because for the games they need to know where all your movement is, right? Exactly. And that's what's brought in electronically into the game. So. It's
so cool how they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the technology is phenomenal, and it's huge international project too. Like the games will be sent to sometimes Bucharest for certain parts of the game, and then back and again they have multiple projects on the go at one time. And with COVID, they have a really large studio in Toronto. Well, it's not even a studio; it's literally a huge old factory they took over. But I think they're slowly moving back into in-office because a lot of people were having to just work from home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how much RAM space do you need on a computer to be able to like make these games? I'm like,
right.
Because I would do tours and stuff. Like we would be moving sometimes into rehearsals or into voiceover studios, and you would go by and it's rows and rows of computers and people like working away on various games and stuff. And just it's whole other world, and they were taking over the floors of this massive factory. And at the end, before COVID, it was like all 3 or 4 floors. Plus they had, when I went back into work with them last year, they had a new motion capture studio. So they built a whole $2 million extension onto the studio as well that we were working in. So
wow,
it's crazy budgets and stuff.
Huge.
It's a fun additional. So we got horror movies, we've got rom-coms, we've got
the video
billion dollar gaming community, a little theater in the background.
Yes. And history, I love history as well. So I have a minor in history. I'm a dork.
No, not a dork.
Nope. We love a good knowledge base here. Like Sarah has a background as a teacher, so
oh, amazing. You guys do wonderful work. I'd love to teach eventually myself.
Yeah, I don't want to go back. I loved it when I did it, but now
it presents its whole other challenges, everything.
Yeah, it's different now than when I first started, but
yeah,
I still would love to do something because it allowed me to be creative, and you're helping kids, and you're, I was a kindergarten teacher, so it was like playing a lot, which was fun. But yeah, no, now I do it at home with my kids. So
they're very teachers are very underappreciated.
Yeah,
yes,
and very underpaid. I mean, like those strikes to get onto like the political realm, like there's strikes and everything happening all over because they need more pay.
Mm-hmm.
Never cut mental health care and education, in my opinion. That would be my political mandate.
I can line up with both of those things. Like
exactly. No, but have our own challenges in Ontario every so often. So
right. Hey, so do you have a dream role that you would really love to do?
I do. There's movies or TV shows that really stick with me over time. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite movies was The Mummy growing up. Mm-hmm. I just thought Rachel Weisz was the bee's knees. I wanted to be an Egyptologist for a short while. Like,
yes,
it's romance. It's like, it was Brendan Fraser. I've always wanted to go to. It's filmed in Morocco, but
still,
right? Like, love to go to, and it's like history all wrapped in. So, like, an adventure movie or something like that, with an element of history and like romance thrown in. I also love like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, right. Okay.
So it's like period work as well. I'd love to do. I grew up watching Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. So
we can go deep. We can go deep, Dr. Quinn, around here.
I love that. There's a show. I'm watching Peaky Blinders right now, and I'm kind of enjoying that. I'm very, very early in, like 4 episodes in season 1. Mm-hmm. But there's an actress, Kate Phillips, English actress that I absolutely love, and I think she's beautiful. And I haven't seen the 2nd season, but Miss Scarlet and the Jew.
Yes, I was going to say she's Miss Scarlet. Yes, I think she's exquisite. I just really, really enjoy her performances in that. So those would be. It's not one choice. That's my. I think a period piece feels like the next thing you need to do,
right?
And I could completely picture you in a period piece. I think
I would love to.
Although I can see the action adventure history piece, like, an Indiana Jones version of something. Okay, right? Only you're it. No, like, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, I would love to. That's on the bucket list or in the bucket.
I could totally see you doing that, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to. Anything with horse riding. I was a horse rider for a long time.
Oh, were you?
And Brain Power production that did San Scott Style. They do like Pony Sitters Club, and so I'm always kind of like, I ride horses, right?
Right. Doesn't Heartland need you to come through or something too?
Well, they just have finished production on a show called, I don't know if it's Black Beauty. It's not based on like Anna Sewell's book, Black Beauty, but it's all like Afro-Canadian cast, and it's about like Black ranchers and as far as I'm aware. And I know an actor, Neil Whiteley, that was working on it, and I never even had an audition.
You're like, excuse me, I ride.
Like, I'm a horse rider. I'm like mixed race. Like, come on, like, please give me a chance, sort of thing. So maybe.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah. So that would be fun, and would love that opportunity. So
okay,
put it in the universe, right?
So you have lots of dream role things.
Yeah,
right. And skills, and you have skills, right? Riding skills and.
I need to brush up. My goodness, I would be crippled if I got on a horse now.
Well, they always have the horse handler there, and they always work with you if you could do it. I have faith. I'm there. I'm signing you up.
Like, give me 2 weeks, But I do keep saying to my mom, because I've got the travel bug right now, and I'm like, maybe I'll go to Alberta this summer and do like a, like city slickers, like drive castle.
Okay.
In the Rockies. Would that not be amazing? People are
yes.
Like, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Or like you can do treks across Scotland.
Oh, really?
Treks across Scotland. I was like, absolutely, I would do that.
Oh, no,
right now, not in this weather, but
yeah.
When
it gets warmer. Yeah. So I feel like you already answered our question about if you could have any role in any old movie or series, what would you choose? You dropped a bunch of them, but if there's any you want to add.
Any others? No, I think I probably covered most of them.
I think you got it.
They're just the roles that have impact on me when I was young. And my brother and I, my goodness, for years we used to act out our own versions of movies.
Yes.
So those were like Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean. We did Lord of the Rings. We did a lot of movies and everything. So it would be,
Please tell me you also did when you were younger, like High School Musical. And
I was a little too old for High School Musical. Sorry, no, I was too young
for High School Musical.
No, I was never really into.
Too bad.
I didn't watch Glee either.
Okay. You missed both of those.
Yeah, I think it's because maybe there was a teeny bit of envy because I was like, like I want the opportunity and so forth. And I'm just as talented. Like, why didn't they come and hire me? I don't know. My brother and I never really watched it. It was I think we just spent most of our time either in rehearsals for we did a lot of community theater. So it was either we were in rehearsals or making our own versions of films. Or working for fun.
So what was your favorite what's your favorite thing you've been in the theater?
In the theater.
Or a favorite character or...
there's there was one really interesting show I did called Welcome to Thebes at school, and I was playing Eurydice, and it's a modernized version of Greek tragedy. So the writer, I want to say her name was Moira. I really should know this. I'm so sorry. She actually did the screenplay for the Jane Eyre version that had Michael Fassbender in. She actually wrote the screenplay for that. I think it's Moira, begins with a B, her last name. Very ill-prepared of me. That play itself was a mixture of Andromache. It had the story of Eurydice, the legend of Thebes, like the country or the city-state as it was in ancient Greece and so forth. So that was like a mixture of all of them coming together and in a modernized sort of world. So it hit me on like the political realm because I was like, oh, this is really interesting, the historic, because they kind of modernize it to be a country that's just coming out of civil war. And so a female leader that's trying to kind of hold things together. The leader of the other city-state kind of comes in, Theseus, and she has her nephew has led, I believe it was like her nephew's led a rebellion and has died, and she won't give him an appropriate ritual funeral instead, and that in Greek mythology was considered to be something very disrespectful and so forth. So that ends up leaving. That's it. Yes, Sheila.
Sheila.
Thank you. Yes,
I figured Sheila or Kathryn would come through with that one.
And she loved Quinn. Yes. It was that role was really, really interesting to play. But because you're in theatre school and you've got a class of like 19 kids, the roles get kind of divvied up. But I had like the most emotional, like the climax of the show and the denouement and everything. So it was really interesting role.
Yeah, no, that's fun to get to play that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah, but also I was like 19 at the time, and so I really, one of my teachers at school and everything, they used to say like, go get life experience, because there's such a pressure I think sometimes for kids leaving high school to go to post-secondary straight away. And a lot of the time kids don't really know what they want to study, and they don't really know what they want to do. And in England, you take what are called gap years. So gap years are not something that's abnormal. So my brother and I went pretty much straight on to theatre school. he's 17, I'm 19. We have no idea, like we haven't lived really properly. And they said, take a year off, go travel, go work. And then at the end of the year, decide whether or not you want to come back to the program. They're like, we think you're right. We think the program's right, but you're not ready for it. So my brother and I went backpacking around Australia for 6 months, Bali, Thailand, working, just learning about life and everything. And then you kind of, you know, come back to that. Because, of course, the characters like Juliet, in Juliet, this, there's a naivety to her and an innocence. So you have to play that, but also like the journey that she goes through. If you don't have life experience, if you've never felt affection like that for someone, then how do you know how to play it? You need to pull from imagination. So that was very beneficial to take that year off, because you came in like with a fresh mindset. And of course, I was still only like 20 when I was doing that show. So I'm sort of, you know, pulling, but depending on like the type of the method of acting and so forth that the teacher was doing with us at the time, you know, you can only pull from so much because you're so young, you haven't really experienced anything. That I would approach the role very differently now, you know, 5 years.
And isn't that the journey of life though? Like, but you know what, that makes it makes a difference. So you're not that person anymore, right?
No.
You've acquired things and experiences along the way, right?
Yeah. And just different. Like you just evolve. You're constantly evolving over time, and you know, circumstances will change you. Hopefully, always for the betterment. You know, street smarts and so forth. Like that's always a good thing to be savvy and careful in that way. But also, I always remember I worked with a girl in a restaurant once, and she had a tattoo, and it said "Stay soft." And I'm like, yeah, you know, I have to keep that in mind, because sometimes big city life, you know, the challenges and stresses that we have day to day, it's hard to remember to see the small things and to say soft and open and, you know, I guess receptive to energies and love and people. It's hard to remember to do that sometimes. So I have to be like,
I like that. Stay soft.
Yeah.
So simple. Yeah.
I remember looking at it being like,
yeah.
So
I do love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's me for like my, you know, heart and so forth, like not to close off.
Right. Well, should we finish up with a couple of we have a little game where we just ask you what your favorite thing is?
Yes. Sure. Shoot. Oh.
All right. I think we'll skip the favorite movie unless you have a favorite movie outside of any of them that you've already said you like.
I have a few favorite films. Like one of them is The Godfather. I think that's a phenomenal movie.
Right.
Itself.
Right. Have you watched The Offer?
The Offer? No, I don't think I have.
Oh, you should watch The Offer.
Yeah.
It's on where is that? Paramount Plus?
I think it's Paramount. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's amazing.
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show. There's 10 episodes, I think, and it's about The Godfather and
making of.
It's but it's not a documentary. It's a drama. It's so good. It's so good. There's amazing. It's so good. So somebody that we had on the podcast was like, "Oh, I just watched The Offer. It's amazing." And my husband and I watched through it. So if you love The Godfather, watch The Offer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what else besides The Godfather?
Oh, I love the romantic comedy Only You.
Oh yeah,
Junior. That was one of my favorite, and that would be like can I add that to my bucket list of goals? Like Italy,
right?
Hello, kind of thing. Love that one. My mind, of course, always happens to go blank. Think of things on the fly. I know I'm going to kick myself by forgetting some of them, but those are the only ones that are coming kind of to mind right now. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's okay. What is your favorite comfort TV show?
Oh, Downton Abbey.
No.
Okay.
Second season. I love the second season. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I really enjoyed Downton. Dr. Quinn, of course.
Yeah.
I feel a period drama coming on for you.
I know. It's like right up my alley. Yes.
Give me corsets and I'm good, kind of thing.
Bridgerton, they need you.
Yes.
And then what other TV show do I like to go to? Those are the only two that are coming to mind that I will, because you can jump back at any time with Downton Abbey. Like I know the storyline, so I can jump to see episode 4 of season 2 and know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so forth.
Right. I love that. So then you can just like turn it on wherever you're at, and you're like, I'm good. I'm
good.
Yep.
Put my feet up.
I'm like, what happened to oh gosh, what was his name? Not Mr. Carson, the guy that he's the valet for Lord Grantham, who has like the ex-wife, and why am I blanking on his name?
I can't think of the names. I feel like I can't think of any names right now.
I've actually never watched it.
You've never seen it?
See, I watched the first episode when I was about maybe, I don't know, 14 or something when it came out maybe. And I didn't understand the actress playing Cora. I was like, that is the strangest English accent I've ever heard, kind of thing. And not realizing she was actually supposed to be American. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So when I gave it a chance a few years later, I was like addicted. So it's a beautiful show. Like the cinematography is stunning. And I enjoyed that one. Definitely. I haven't seen Gillian Fellowes' new one. His one that's supposed to be set in Italy. I think Portofino or something.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
I just did Miss Scarlet and the Duke, actually. So I'm waiting for the new season. I watched season 3. I think it's the 3rd season I just finished. Yeah.
I bought season 1 on DVD because I just really enjoy watching her work.
Yeah.
I think she's just lovely. I first thing I ever saw her in was The Crown.
Yep.
With Venetia, who was the assistant to Winston Churchill in it.
Okay. Okay, now I've seen The Crown, so now.
Yeah. She's got very, very straight teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Blonde. She played Venetia. She dies like me.
Yeah.
So with the Great Fog over London. And she's in, I think, 2 episodes of that. And then she was also in Downton Abbey, I feel like one of the movies. And then
I bet.
Peaky Blinders, she's in later seasons of Peaky Blinders, which I haven't gotten to yet, but I just think she's fab. I think she's gorgeous.
Yeah, I enjoy her, and her and Stuart Martin are really good together too.
They got great chemistry. Really good chemistry.
Yeah.
My mom was like, he looks like Hugh Jackman. I was like, Mama, good thing. So I'll have to rewatch. I literally have the DVDs, so I'm gonna rewatch it, and I have to catch season 2 still.
Yeah. It's on Prime if you have PBS Masterpiece, which I feel like you probably do because you like all these movies.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I'll have a peek. Oh, Sheila's saying Jim Carter. Yeah, it's not Mr. Carson though. It's the other guy.
It's the other guy.
We'll have to figure it out.
Somebody will come
through. You can figure it out. It's the one that Anna is in love with and marries without giving. Sorry, spoiler, Julie.
So, it's okay.
Yeah, no, isn't that Carson?
No, I think Carson's the butler with the kind of gravelly voice. He's one that sort of like walks around with a big puffed out chest all the time.
All right, hold on.
Hey, Mr. Bates. That's
Mr.
Bates. Okay, Mr. Bates.
I don't even remember what I was talking about with him. So
there you go. All right. Do you have a favorite food, healthy and guilty pleasure?
I love Italian food.
Oh.
And I feel that, but Italian food is so different in Italy. Like I feel that, we think of pastas as being very stodgy and very heavy and stuff, but I think it's just so different when you're in Italy. So I was like, that's my healthy food.
Yeah, Italian food when you're in Italy.
Exactly. So I love olives. Oh my gosh, I love olives. Like I feel like I have to go live in Italy at some point. Like pastas, so forth. I eat a lot of salads anyway, so I'm kind of like I was always like the good kid that ate the greens and stuff. So that would be like
make your mom happy.
Yeah. One last try. I never like to eat the meat though. So anytime that I've always been picky about meat.
Yeah.
So growing up, it would be like my sister and brother would leave their veg and I would be giving the meat to the dog under the table.
I am also not a good meat eater. Like,
no, I've got to be, it's got to be the right, I have to be in the right mood. Like for me, sometimes I'll see on a menu and it'll be like chicken. I'm like, no, I just,
no. I'm often a no. So
I love I like a lot of seafood, seafood and so forth. I enjoy. So,
all right. What is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, I love chocolate, but I'm like giving myself chocolate.
Yeah.
I just went on a cruise, so I'm like, all you do is overeat on cruise ships. So I'm like, no chocolate.
And it's almost Valentine's Day. Come on.
And chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. That was a vice of mine when I was in the hospitality industry still. You know, like there are worse things. Like there are worse addictions to have.
There are worse things you could do.
Chocolate milk. All right, we'll finish up with this one. What about your favorite band or singer?
Okay, I love I'm more old school music.
Yeah.
For modern singer, I like The Weeknd. I appreciate him, but I think it's because he has a very 80s vibe.
Yep.
Okay.
Like just his musical stylings, like how he composes it is very 80s influence. I grew up listening to like a lot of Fleetwood Mac, Queen, ABBA, Dire Straits, and so forth. So that would be like a big mixture of my music type. But one of my favorite songs is Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean.
So good.
It's so good, right? And like Billy Ocean, I'm just like, and anytime that comes, I'm like, Caribbean Queen. I just love it. It's so good. He's got a beautiful voice, and like he still looks the same, pretty much. Like long white dreadlocks, and I'm like,
I can remember being places when that summer that song was out. It was just blasting everywhere.
When I'm in my what I call my Joe job, my job away from acting, they always know if I'm the first one in for the day because I'll put Spotify on. It'll always be like Billy Ocean or another one, Steve Winwood, like Higher Love and stuff.
Yeah, Bring Me a Higher Love. Yep. Fleetwood Mac, right?
Yeah, those are my my music types. And then I grew up with like a lot of musicals too. I enjoy like some classical music as well. So big range.
What's your favorite musical to belt songs out from?
Oh, it's based on my mood sometimes. I do sing a lot of Disney too. Like
same here, same at this house,
right? I have a lot of memories from my teenagehood of driving myself and my brother back and forth from school, and Oliver, the musical Oliver by Lennox was always like a favorite. And I remember we would be driving around, like we grew up in Kelowna in British Columbia, and we'd be driving around like kind of windy roads up and down the hill. My mom would probably go mad if she actually knew. And it would be the song Consider Yourself. My brother's done the production multiple times, and he's played the art character. Like,
Consider Yourself.
Right. He's immensely talented, my brother. And there's this one part in the film where these women have the big baskets and they kind of do like this sort of like movement forward, and they'll kind of like bump for a couple beats and then and my brother and I would be driving and my brother and I would be doing this, but I always had it wrong, and so we'd be kind of swaying like this in the vehicle. The whole car is lurching where we're kind of doing. We're just ridiculous, my brother and I. So
I love that.
I feel like somebody needs to put that into one of these movies. Like,
yes, right? You know what? We will
what a great scene.
Yeah, it's like the Mike Myers film. Why am I blanking on so many things? You know, the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
I am gonna take that
in the car. Okay. Yes, and it should be that. Should be that. Please tell me when you're singing Disney tunes that you guys love Hercules, because
not all of the songs though. I mean, I don't know Hercules as well as I know other movies, but like I always love like Zero to Hero.
Well, it's the Muses. Anything with the Muses.
Anything with the Muses is great. And then of course, like I Can Go the Distance.
Right. But the Muses, for whatever reason at this house, anything the Muses do is like
It's so fun. Get bless my soul. Hook was on a roll. Oh, it's
That
so
would be
good.
it.
Words, but I'll be like, da, da, da.
No, because that was good. Because you're right, not all the music in there is good, but the muses, those are always high. All right, what's your favorite Disney music?
It's like I wouldn't be able to pick like the music in terms
Or just movie with
Yeah.
musical Disney, which
that's so hard. Beauty and the Beast jumps to mind.
oh yeah,
I just think it's classic.
so classic.
I think like
Just the way it starts.
Yeah, I just felt like I related closest to Belle, but I really enjoy Princess and the Frog. I think there's some
yes.
in that. I believe the actor's name is Jim Cummings. He's a terrific voiceover actor, and he does the voice of the fly,
Yes.
Firefly.
Yeah. Okay.
Names again are escaping me, and he's brilliant. He's done voices in hundreds and hundreds of Disney movies, and you would never know it was him, and so forth. So I always enjoy any production that he's part of as well. But yeah, Princess and the Frog is very
cute. That has great music in it. Princess does.
I grew up with Sleeping Beauty. I remember I broke my VHS. My sister and we broke our VHS of that and Little Mermaid growing up.
Yes.
I saw that in the theaters. I remember going to see.
Yes.
Well, I probably saw all of those early ones, but I very specifically remember going to see The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah, my sisters always loved that one. But Sleeping Beauty, I always thought that she was so beautiful as well.
Right.
So
literally a Disney princess.
But she doesn't know it.
But she doesn't know it.
I'm heading there next week, so I'm excited. To Disney.
To Disney? Yeah. Orlando or Anaheim?
Orlando.
Oh, fun. Okay. My sister lives in California, so whenever I go visit her, generally we end up going.
You go to Disneyland.
Universal or Disneyland.
Yeah.
But Orlando's better.
I haven't been to Disneyland since I was a kid, but I have family in California, so same thing. We would fly to see them and then go to Disney.
The pretty much prerequisite trip over to the required trip to Disney. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but so that's exciting. Well, we loved meeting you, and we're so glad you joined us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. And I'm sorry, I hope I wasn't too uncouth or anything like that.
Oh gosh, no, you're perfect.
We run a chat. We run a chat style podcast. This is what we do.
Exactly what you fit right in.
Perfect.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and for everyone that was listening live as well. Thank you very much for your support and for joining today. But thank you mostly for your support. It really means a lot to me. And thank you, ladies, for reaching out. And I'm honored to be part of your podcast. And thank you in advance for watching Welcome to Valentine.
That's what I'm like. And your movie is.
And the shameless plug.
That's what we're here for, though.
Yeah, like Julie's waiting to get that in one more time before we end.
Right.
So
it's going to air on
Valentine on Hallmark.
February 18th, 8/7 Central. I got the numbers right here.
Done.
And Kat, what is your social media handle on Instagram?
It is @ and then the word THE _ my first name, Kathryn KATHRYN _ Davis DAVIS.
Okay.
And
we'll follow her.
That is due to my brother because I am inept with social media. But I do appreciate anyone that does follow and comments and everything. Know that I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I'm not very good with social media.
Well, your brother is, and you have a beautiful feed, so go check it out, everybody. Thank you again, Kat, for being here, and come back again.
Would love to. Absolutely would love to. Thanks, ladies.
Okay. All right, we're going to end it here, and we'll say bye to you off screen. So bye, everybody.
Bye. Everybody.